Okay, so we've got a real example here of how George improved his strike and what you can learn from George here and to improve your ball striking. So let's just play the swing through, and we worked on a lot in this lesson, way more than I would ordinarily work on with someone, but the student here was taking everything on board so well that I felt we could progress on to additional things during the session. You should always kind of understand how much your client can take on at a certain lesson. Some lessons are very different. You might just give one instruction to the student, but this lesson we actually did way more than I ordinarily would. So the first thing we touched on was posture. So you can see in the left-hand image how we're kind of a bit more sort of hunched over the ball, a bit more flex in the legs. Well, we got George here much taller to the ball, hands feeling like they're a bit higher. His hands are actually still a bit too close to his body than I'd like to see. I would still like to see them a little bit more out, but this is the first lesson for George, and he hadn't played golf hardly at all as well. So he did a fantastic job here. The next thing we touched on was the grip. Now let's just bring the hands up so you can kind of see the grip here. So in the right-hand image, this is the better grip. So we've gone interlocking, and we just felt like we got the left grip a little bit stronger than normal. Actually, we got him to feel like he could see kind of maybe about 3 knuckles. Now, if you look at this left-hand image, can you see he's gone with baseball grip? We've got the gap between the hands, and the grip in the left hand was kind of a little bit weak, and then the right hand was a little bit strong. So we just went with the interlocking. We tried overlapping as well, but interlocking felt more comfortable on this occasion. So before we move on to anything else, there are key things as well with this. You can't just kind of brush over grip and posture. It's important to have a repeatable posture, one that you can feel you can rotate nicely, one that you're balanced. So we went with weight, feeling like weight was central, standing nice and tall, nice and comfortable to the ball. And we spent quite a bit of time getting that grip comfortable, making sure that it's going through the fingers in the left hand so that the left hand can kind of drift over the grip in the wrists. Now, one of the most common things I see when golfers try to change their grip and you're trying to make a slightly stronger grip is they're getting their left shoulder and they're trying to move that left shoulder over the handle so they can get their left hand slightly stronger rather than being too weak. Well, you just feel it happen, kind of the suppleness in your left wrist, and that's all it takes is just to feel that you move for a right-handed golfer, just move your left wrist over the handle using your wrist and your forearm, not your shoulder. Okay, so just feel the suppleness in your left hand and get the grip across the fingers, so then you can see 2 to 3 knuckles in that left hand. Then, as you can see, let's take a look. Don't look at that right-hand image yet. This left-hand image, you can see how the face is pointing at the ball. So in this kind of shaft parallel position, the club face is just a little bit too strong for my liking. I do like to see the angle here. You see quite a really common thing amongst sort of slicers of the golf ball is that they actually get the face kind of the toe of the club too much to the sky. The toe kind of points up here, then they end up swinging over the top and hitting the big slice. So I do like this strong club face position. It's just a little bit too strong for my liking. So we did a little bit on the face rotation here. So we just got the kind of left forearm just rotating that club face a little bit. So we were aiming for spine angle here with the club face, and I think you'll agree that is pretty spot on there for spine angle. So that we were really pleased with that. Didn't take long at all there. What that enables George to do then is on that downswing he can release his hands a bit more through the ball to help with a bit of speed as well. But also it helps flatten out this backswing position. So you see now the angle of the shaft kind of pointing down towards that golf ball. Or if we go to where it was just getting a bit steep, a little bit kind of cricket. So we've got too steep of an angle in that shaft there. So we were just trying to get the swing a bit more on plane with the golf ball. Now, again, let's go So we're at the very top of the swing now, so you might kind of notice and just make sure that it's very top. So here, difference in the shoulder turn. So we did a lot on shoulder turn, did a lot on hip rotation, just to feel that help George to wind up. Now, I wouldn't really say that the shoulder turn and hip rotation helps with the ball striking, but it certainly helps to create create more power. So, but one thing you can't see here is actually that George was moving off of the ball, so he was kind of moving more towards target. So now we're rotating on the spot. So we've got great hip rotation here, focusing on pivoting on the spot, not swaying on the outside of the right foot, but pivoting on the spot there. So that was a really big help with the ball striking, the rotation on the spot, not necessarily creating the rotation, but how we rotated. So it's just feeling that you rotate over the ball and not moving too much or at all to the right in that backswing. And then the length of this backswing and the good shoulder turn really helped develop more club head speed through the ball. Then on the way down, again, keeping that shaft plane towards the golf ball. And like we said, it's still the first session, so this is still a little bit steeper than we'd like to see. Here, I'd like to see that a little bit sort of flatter into the ball here, but again, from where it was, kind of here, we're really happy at the moment with this. Rotating through the shot, clearing through it much nicer, controlling. Look at the difference here with the club face. So let's go back so you can see the frame of the left-hand image as well. Just take it forward a notch. Can we get it there? So if you take a look at this left-hand image, you can see how much the club face is rolled over. Well, you saw how closed it was on that backswing, so it's gonna roll over like that into the follow through. But now we've got a much more controlled club face here, just through the strike. And then the final thing we worked on was how to use the ground on the downswing. So I got George feeling like he's on the downswing, he's pushing diagonally down to the right. In his downswing to create the force which is going up and to the left, so create more club head speed using the ground efficiently, so he's able to clear through the shot, and the results were just outstanding really. You can see the strike in the left hand image, you can see where the ball comes off the club face, out the toe, scoots out to the right, and then this right hand image, come into the strike, way nearer to the centre. It's still slightly towed, we're being picky. That's due to that downswing being a little bit still a tad steep, but that'll be something we'll be working on in the next session. But the changes here, I think you'll agree, are amazing to make these sort of changes in one session. I mean, we probably worked on about 6 or 7 different pointers, and I would normally just work on somewhere between sort of 2 or 3 in a session, but it all depends on the student and how well they can take on this extra information, because you can have paralysis through analysis, but in this occasion it certainly wasn't, and George did a fantastic job at improving his ball striking by taking these pointers on board. So if you feel that this is something you do in your swing, then I hope this video helps you. Any questions, then please put them in the comment box. And if you like the video, hit the like button. And if you'd like to subscribe to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button.